Hello, Intactivists. Sorry, guys, it is like 1 a.m. Actually, it's 2 a.m. And we are doing this right now. We are going to be talking about figuring out year over year on selling covered calls. This is a need for a strategy that I call option field goal kicking, which is an advanced tactic. I really have debated on teaching you guys this because this is pretty hard to go and do. So if you guys are new here and you don't know how to do stocks, you probably should just skip this video, or, I'm going to have to walk you through this quite a bit. But if you're an intermediate to advanced, then definitely tune in. So this is relatively tricky because your year over year on your selling covered calls depends on two things: your strike price and if you get assigned. And then it also depends on your premium that you make. And then on top of that, it depends if you want to take your average cost or the share price of the underlying share and divide the formula by that. I recommend use the average cost. So we're going to be doing the average cost in this formula today. And if you want to use the share price, you can, but I think that really messes things up. So I recommend just using the average cost of what you've bought it for. So the formula for if you just sell covered calls and you're not assigned, this is the easiest formula for this video. It just gets more and more complicated after, trust me. So it's premium divided by price of the shares. And then you would take 365 and divide that by the number of days of your contracts. And then you would multiply those two together. And then you would times it by 100, and that gets year over year. Now for the 365 divided by number of days, I typically do weeks or months versus days, just because it's much quicker and easier for me to go type in versus having to count calendar days. So I will give you an example of this. So if we go here to Wendy's, this is my Wendy's. My average cost is $23. All right. So for my covered call, you'd go down here. I did a $20 call. All right, great. I got, for this covered call, you can go click here. I got $160 for this covered call. You would take $160 divided by your average cost, which for me is $23. Now remember, you have to times that by 100. So 160 times 100 is 160. Like $160 divided by $2,300. And then you have to check the expiration date and when you bought it. So the expiration date on this is February 16th, 2024. And when I bought this contract, that was in 8/21. So we're just going to say 6 months for simplicity's sake. So we're just going to do 12 months divided by 6 months. And once you go ahead, and I will go to just me. So this is what this is going to look like. The formula, I'm going to put this right here, right beside me. Hello. So you'd end up getting 0.07 times 2. That's what that would all equal. And then you would take your 0.14 times it by 100. That would be 14% gains year over year. So that's how you do it. And this is the simple version. Like, this is what happens when you do not get assigned. Now, if you do end up getting assigned, this gets way more complicated because now you're not just figuring out your covered call year over year. You're pretty much figuring out everything, right? The formula for if you are assigned, it's your initial put premium plus all the call premiums plus the dividends and anything extra if you got any extra money for whatever reason. And then you would have to figure out the difference between the strike price minus the average cost of what you paid for it, and then you times that by 100, and that just gives you your profit. So that's how much you've made. Then after that, you're going to then have to times that by 365 divided by the number of days. We're probably, once again, going to just use months or weeks. And that equals your year-over-year profit. Still not done. After you figure out your year-over-year profit, you have to go ahead and divide all of that by your average cost, which is your total spent. And then that is going to give you the raw decimal point. So then you just times it by 100 and you get your percentage points. So for back to the Wendy's example, let's say my $20 call gets signed. Let's say my $20 call gets assigned. Let's say Wendy goes up to $22 for whatever reason. Okay, great. So all you have to do is you go all the way down to your history. You go to show more. You also have to pay attention to what pertains to this. So ignore a bunch of things that don't actually pertain to this, like the call debit spread, ignore it. So this is what you want to focus on here. This is where this starts. The $23 put starts in March 17th. I got $95. So you want to, add the $95 that you got, because that's the put premium. And then you just add in the calls, because look, I got a call right there for $100. So I'm at $195. And then this is a dividend. You would add 25 to it. You would then add 160, and then I got another dividend, which you would add another $25. So once you add all this up together, you're going to end up getting $355 plus $50 in dividends. And now you're going to have to figure out the strike price minus the average cost. And this, once again, is very easy. You just go back here. So right here is your average cost, $23. Your call, if it got assigned, would be $20. You would have to multiply all this by 100. So this would be $2,300 minus 20 or $2,000. So that's going to be negative $300. So right here, back to our equation, you're going to have 405 minus 300, and that's going to give you $105 in profit. Now that's great, but remember, this was back in March. This is when we started this. So you're going to take the year, so we're going to do months. So 12 months divided by how long this has been going. So this is going to be 12 months. And once again, you have to go back to the history. March. I know it's March. I'm going to March. I can go back to March and when it started. Oh, that's a put. Right. So I sold this put. Actually, I sold this put in February. So I sold this put in February right here. That means that I sold this put in February, and this expires on February. So that means 12 divided by 12. So 12 divided by 12 means that it's 105 year over year. Now, if this was in March or whatever, it would be 12 divided by 11, and that you'd get a different number. But this was February, so just 12 divided by 12 gives you your year over year profit, which is 105. So now you take your year over year profit, you do 105 divided by 2,300, which is going to end up giving you 0.046%. And then you have to times up by 100, and that's going to give you 4.6% gains year over year. And that is even though I sold it for $300 less. So most people would be really out of luck, they would have lost $300 even though they held it for that long. But we actually ended up making a profit of 105. So I know that was a lot. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.